Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this session on the EUA Leadership Development Programme. My name is Estermann, and I'm leading EUA's work on governance, funding, and also this Leadership Development Programme together with my colleague Maria Blanco. And well, in this session today, we will give you an overview of the programme, explain a bit the content, why it's distinctive, and also give you some practical information for the application. And if you have, of course, any questions, we'll also space for this. Yeah, we also have prepared some slides that will briefly come up. Big question also why we have a leadership development program developed several years ago is that we know that higher education leadership has become much more challenging than maybe 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, so that's why several years ago we developed this program. We just need to check if the slides are coming up quickly there. In a couple of seconds. Okay, here we go. We need to go a little bit back. Just bear with us until the technical issues are there. So there we go from the start. And yes, the many leadership challenges that we are facing today as institutional leaders are big transformation, the sustainability transformation, digital transformation, artificial intelligence. We also deal with much more complex cooperation settings, such as the European University Alliances, for example, but also other cooperation formats. We deal a lot with geopolitical uncertainty and all of this under huge financial challenges that is clear also from our work that we've been doing, that no system is actually in an environment where this is not an issue. So the challenge here is to do all of this simultaneously. And then, of course, we also need to deal with the core activities to run the universities, the learning and teaching mission, the research and innovation mission, and also in other mission features. So this is why we also developed a lot of work around institutional leadership, and here also to share with you what is our understanding of leadership. We believe today it's importantly it's very much value-based and purpose-driven, so it needs to be anchored in the academic values and the societal mission. We also very much promote the concept of shared leadership, meaning that we also in the program integrated this vision by both academic and professional support leaders need to work in a partnership to address the huge challenges in leading institutions. We also very much promote the concept of collective leadership, so no institution on its own will be able to tackle all the big challenges. As I mentioned, partnerships are very important, but how do you lead together in networks and partnerships also comes with some challenges attached, and this is also what we address in the program. Leadership today is also going beyond, I would say, a traditional strategic planning. We need to navigate with a higher degree of uncertainty, so that at the same time we also need to look much further into the future, and all of that we will also address in the program. We also promote the concept of transformational leadership, where we believe that leadership needs to create the right conditions for change and for transformation. and that's also a big task. And last but not least, we also believe that building trust engagement is a core element of leadership. Now, what is the EUA Leadership Development Programme? It's actually the first program at European level for senior university leaders, including both academic elected and professional support leaders in one program. We have designed it based on a bulk of work that we've been doing on leadership and transformation through various projects together with our membership. So we have a strong input from experienced leaders and experts from across Europe. We also bring into the program the latest European-wide research on leadership transformation and all trends. So you will see this a little bit later when Maria will explain more the content. And we have a comprehensive curriculum with a very strong European dimension. So we bring in obviously this work from EUA from across Europe, this European dimension. And we also included very practical tools that you as institutional leaders can also go back and apply them immediately. This is also something that we get as constant feedback from participants, that this is also very useful to bring back very practical tools to institutional leadership. Just to give you an idea of also how this program is governed. So in the whole development, the whole EUA community was involved with our EUA board, our statutory bodies, but a large range of experts. And we have a specific advisory board which groups experienced university leaders from different regions from Europe, but also representatives from the EUA community, from our council, and as you can see here on this slide, also academic leaders, but also professional leaders. So that gives you also an idea about the groups that have been involved. And for this next part, to explain what this makes this program very specific and distinctive, my colleague Maria will go into more detail.
Thank you, Thomas. Yes, so what makes this program distinctive, moving into the program in further detail, participants will have the opportunity of accessing exclusive content and the latest research on European policies and trends in higher education across the board. So from learning and teaching to research and innovation, quality assurance, or governance trends. The way in which we have designed the program is with a very practical approach. So participants will engage with a mix of real-world cases, dilemma-based exercises, and interactive group work, including a simulation exercise that will run throughout the program. And embedded within the program, as well as these thematic focus and practical activities, we have embedded direct engagement with key European policymakers, including the European Commission and the European Parliament. So participants will have the opportunity of gaining exclusive insight into the conversations and discussions around the future of higher education policies in Europe. And finally, what we could say that makes this program distinctive is that participants will be part of a diverse group or cohort of European peers. So this peer learning dimension becomes also quite prominent in this program, where they will be part of a community of leaders dedicated to delivering change and transformation in higher education. Now, if we move into an overview of the program structure, the program is structured into 3 main parts and combines on-site and online sessions throughout. So in a first block, we have an introduction to the program, an introduction to the group simulation exercise in 2 online sessions, and then a first on-site session, which in 2027 will take place in Ljubljana, back-to-back with EUA's annual conference. And this will be the first opportunity for participants to meet in person and already engage in a set of leadership dilemmas and activities that we have designed for them. After this first introductory block, we move into the second core block of the program, which starts with 3 online sessions where participants will reflect on the changing needs for higher education leadership and also explore the theme of values-based leadership and shared leadership within the current context for higher education. After those 3 online sessions, the group will reconvene again in Brussels in June for a full week, where we will dive deeper into the pillars of the program. These pillars include the European trends pillar that Thomas already mentioned, but also a strategic foresight and futures thinking module, also a leadership communication module dedicated to strategic communication in higher education institutions, then diving deeper into leadership concepts, including this concept of shared leadership, but also leading in teams and how that works out in higher education. And then a final 2 pillars, one dedicated to governance and institutional transformation, and another one to efficient and sustainable funding strategies. So after this second block of the program, the group will come together again at the beginning of September to move into reflecting on leadership in transversal challenges. So here we will look into leadership in leading in partnerships, leading in alliances, leading across transformations such as sustainability, digital transformation, AI, or equity, diversity, and inclusion. And finally, at the end of these 2 days in Brussels, we will have a final event, after which the program will conclude and participants will join the alumni network, where they will have further opportunities of engaging with previous cohorts of the program, participants in previous cohorts. Now, the calendar for 2027 that you see here is still indicative, and we will be able to confirm the final dates in autumn 2026. These sessions, we have the invaluable privilege of having a group of experts that facilitate the sessions and lead participants across through these themes and practical activities. These experts include academic leaders, but also professional leaders within a diversity of higher education institutions from a diversity of systems across Europe. And here you have an example of some of the experts and facilitators that will lead you through the different themes and activities that we have explained previously. And finally, when looking into the program and reflecting on the program, maybe one of the important things is to share with you what participants in previous cohorts say about the program. So some of the feedback that we got from previous participants say that this is an inspiring and transformative program, that they have acquired knowledge and understanding on leadership in higher education, but also on how leadership has to evolve within the current context in which we live. They also highlight the value of network, of peer learning, but also to this peer learning as a way to better understand from a European perspective what is happening in universities across Europe and how other universities are addressing different situations and challenges that are shared across Europe. They value difference and diversity across Europe, which allows them to broaden the perspectives and the ways in which they can address different situations. And they value the practical approach that Thomas also mentioned, the materials that are shared throughout the program, and also the tools, the very practical tools that they can take back to their institutions and apply in their own, from their own leadership positions. Overall, they reflect on how, having completed this program, they feel maybe more confident, more optimistic, and maybe more prepared to address some of the current challenges for higher education. Now, having said this, I would like to move into the details of the call for participation in the 2027 cohort, which is currently open and will remain open until the 3rd of July. We welcome applications from across different senior leadership positions, both academic and professional leaders. And what applications should include? You should complete the online application form that is available on our website, but also we have made available on this events space. This application form will ask you to express your motivation to joining the program and also to already start reflecting on your leadership journeys. And you should submit this application form together with an institutional support letter. Once we collect the applications for the 2027 cohort, we will select them together with our advisory board and with the support of EUA board, based on leadership experience and responsibilities, also looking into the way the motivation and engagement aligns with what the program offers. And in that selection, the element that I was mentioning before, this diversity of cohort and the balance of the cohort is very important because we look to select a cohort that is diverse in terms of institutional and national backgrounds, but also in terms of profiles and systems represented. And now with this, I would like to pass the floor back to Thomas to explain a little bit more on the commitment and costs for the program.
Yes, and before I do that, maybe also to mention, if you have any questions that we haven't sort of answered yet, there is a Q&A section here where you can pose your questions and we will then address this as well. So you should see it in your window on the right side, the Q&A session. So there's a chat session as well, but questions please put them in the QA session. Now, indeed, give you an idea about the commitment on cost. This is obviously a program which we think is something that has a lot of added value and benefits, but obviously there's also a certain commitment. The program is delivered, as you could see, over 10 days with most of the part in person and in online sessions. So what we ask of participants is to really attend all sessions. Now we are of course aware that leading a university also you can't plan everything in advance, so it's clear that for one or the other session, one of the participants might be involved in institutional activity, and not be able there, but we really ask everyone to try to attend majority, most of the sessions. Some of the sessions, like online, we will record. We also have, as Maria explained, lots of material, but the benefit is really in the interaction and the exchange. So therefore, we really want to have this there. And and there's also a lot of group work involved. So this we will work in groups as fiction and leadership groups, and therefore there's also this interaction relevant that everyone participates. And then it's also a program where a certain degree of preparation is needed. So that depends on the different sessions, the traditional material, or the facilitators will ask you either read some material, or you listen to a podcast, or you listen to look at some other videos. We also have some capsules that we prepared by colleagues from EUA staff on all the different elements. So there is a certain degree of preparation involved, but also in the group work, you will work in this sort of fictional university setting where you need to develop a strategy, where you will work in groups, and you will also need to carve out some time for the group preparation. And that runs from basically the case study from April to September 27. And once we arrive in the last module that Maria described in September, the different groups will also present then the strategy that you have developed then over the course of the program to a board, which is composed of this advisory board that we showed before. So that also requires some preparation. From the experience that we have now is that people also really enjoy this as an exercise where you have to deal with many challenges, but all of them either someone has already gone through that or will go through it. So we have seen that this is also a great commitment by participants of the program. Now, the final point on the cost of the program. So the fee for these next cohort is set at 7,450 euros. This does not include accommodation and travel, but everything else when you are in person, either here in Brussels or at the other locations, etc. Everything else will be included. Now, this is a program where it's exclusively for EUA members, so that is also the reason why we can offer it at that sort of price level. If you look at other equivalent programs, they usually range much higher, depending in which system it is offered. But that's also why we keep it at that level to also allow our EUA membership to participate in this program. This was what we wanted to first share with you in the first run. We still have a couple of points, but maybe we look first into if there are any questions. As I said, you have the Q&A session and a section where you can I think we do already have some questions in there.
Yes, one of the questions that we have received is whether the program is only open to leaders at the highest level of the university, or also those in leading roles at a research center, for example. So maybe you can explain a little bit more what type of profile is.
Yes, indeed. As we said, we applied the concept of shared leadership to the program, and we have deliberately not made a full list of, let's say, are the job titles that we want to include, because we are very much aware of the huge diversity across Europe, of job titles and profiles. So the program is open to leadership roles with a strategic decision-making competence at the university. So if you're part of an institutional leadership team, either at central level, but this could also be at decentralized level, at faculty level. So just to give you a couple of indicative job titles and functions, this would be rectors, presidents, vice rectors with very different portfolios, CEOs, whatever their title is. We also have directors of research support offices, or could also be communication, HR, people from finance, heads of administration, but we also have teams in the programs. So the question if it's also a research center would also be possible if this is included in the institutional setup with a leadership role. So we deliberately did not want to say, okay, here you have these 15 job titles and profiles, because we also will look at it on the application basis. So if you're in doubt, if this would be possible for someone of you or some of your colleagues, you can also send us a question before the application, and then we will come back to you, because we are aware the application requires certainly a description and reflection. So if you're unsure about that, you can always send us a question with your very concrete reference, and we will come back to you. And Maria, I see another question on how much funding is needed to cover travel and accommodation costs approximately. You can give us some hints on that.
Yes, well, for the program, we always try to find special prices for the accommodation, both in the session that will take place back to back with EUA's annual conference in Ljubljana, but also a special price for the accommodation in Brussels. Of course, the part in Brussels, normally it's an accommodation that is close to the venue, and the price is agreed for the cohort. And then the traveling depends on where you are traveling from and what means of travel you will use. So I think there it varies quite substantially between different countries, I would say.
And Maria, could you give us maybe an indication about the price of the accommodation in Brussels, if it's maybe not 100% fixed, but so that people get an understanding of the range?
Yes, so the accommodation in Brussels for the per night is around 100 euros, just over 100 euros per night, approximately.
I mean, of course, people are free to find other accommodations in Brussels. Renting something for a week is also a possibility. But I think for Brussels standards, this is a very reasonable price. And I think, Maria, for the next year's connection to Ljubljana, we don't have yet the rates, but usually we manage to get rather competitive rates for our annual conference, and this will also be offered, as you said, to participants. So.
Yes. Indeed. We have another question on whether it would be open to leadership roles in university alliances and how big is the cohort expected to be? If you would like to respond to that, Thomas.
Yes. So for the moment, we don't have the leadership roles in university alliances not included if this is an exclusive leadership role for the alliance. So that would be typically if you are a Secretary General of a European University Alliance without a leadership role in an institution, that is not covered from this program, because we very strongly focus on institutional leadership. We are very much aware that obviously many of the challenges that colleagues from University Alliances, be it Secretary Generals or other profiles that deal with it, have a very important role and deal with many of the leadership challenges that we also address there. But at the moment, we don't have this included. Maybe I can also say that obviously we're aware of that gap that we have there, and we're obviously planning also something to address this in the future. The cooperation is a very important element of the program itself, and the alliances play a role, but we have not yet included it for that profile. That was a decision also linked to the very limited spaces, and that is maybe the answer on the size of the cohort. Currently we run the cohorts with 24 people, and we have not yet completely fixed it for the next round, because we want to have a certain degree of flexibility. If, let's say, if the demand is very high, then we might make the decision to sort of open up one or the other place. But it's for sure not going to go beyond 30 places. Again, we know it works very well with a cohort size of 24. We can very well imagine if there's a high demand to run it with 26. Yeah, but the program also is deliberately designed for a small cohort of that size, typically to top-level executive programs, and that experience we have done as well. And what's also important for us, as Maria already indicated, we were trying to get a balance of different profiles so that we also can create these leadership teams that represent the sort of, you know, the very important diversity of roles that we want to see also in higher education.
Yes, and then we have another question on if one does not get in this year, so for 2027, whether they need to reapply in the following year. So this year in the application form, you will see a question where we ask you whether you would be available also to participate in future cohorts. So in case you say you are going to be available, then we would contact you directly, following up on that when the selection process is complete in autumn.
Yes, and maybe Maria also I think we can add to that one that while we have set what I will say is a very clear process about the whole selection and how we have the different selection criteria, what we don't know is how many will apply for the program, and this is something it's very difficult to say at the beginning or now. We will obviously try to adapt as much as possible to the process, and the experience from the last call, where we actually then decided to run 2 cohorts because we had such a high demand, and then we also have a waiting list, and it is very clear because some people change the job, some move out of higher education, so there is naturally a certain movement that we try to include this in the planning process Or we also had cases where someone who has been selected had sort of private reasons why he couldn't attend in a year, and then sort of move this to the next year. So we're trying to, let's say, adapt to the circumstances, and then also being flexible to meet also the needs and realities of our membership.
Yes, I don't see any additional questions, neither in the Q&A nor in the chat.
Maybe, Maria, I think what might also be still interesting to also say a little bit that obviously in the week in Brussels, I mean, you already indicated that we also want to include obviously the perspectives of European policymakers, so you will get a strong exposure on that, on the content. And what we're trying to do is there something slightly, that will give you Brussels behind the scenes sort of reflection, rather than something that obviously you will get exposure if someone, policymaker, speaking at a conference. So this is also part of the program that we're trying to include.
Perfect. I don't see any more questions, Thomas.
Okay, excellent. Well, that means thanks a lot for joining us for questions. If something sort of coming up now and where you think, I forgot this to ask, you're obviously available for any questions. You can send us an email. You also have our webpage where you have further details in there. You also have so these possibilities to come back to us. And we also, if you want to get also directly from let's say the previous participants and alumni of the program to hear what they have to say, there's also the possibility to check out a video that we have also uploaded on the web page, so that you might also gives you that perspective of how they felt after concluding the program. We also have some reflections from our advisory board members, which I think also gives you an idea of those people that are involved. And so we hope that this was interesting for you, and obviously we're very much looking forward of seeing one or the other application from some of you that have been participating in this webinar. Thank you very much, and see you soon, either in this next program or at another of the many activities and events that we have at EUA. Have a good day and afternoon. Thank you.